hey, நீ அந்த பையன் தான் கர்ச்சீஃப் கட்டி விளையாடுவியா தலையில. It's very important that people remember you beyond your sport. I was close to depression. I was feeling very low. For Satyan வந்து யாராவது படிப்பாளி தான். Some nerd only has to do.
Let's go back to the beginnings just a bit. We all know that your father was the one who pushed you into the sport and who was a fantastic player himself. Was it a lot of pushing merely from his side, or were you also just enough? I mean, were you also motivated enough to go for it right from the get-go?
I think my motivation pushed him to take me every day to the club.
Okay.
I still remember as a young kid, I used to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and wake him up and take him to the
right.
My mom used to say he came back late, let him sleep for some time. But he said that if the kid is interested, we should not stop that. So of course, yes, he took me to the club when I was already 3 years old or 4 years old. I started playing at a very young age. So again, it was my liking to the sport which has taken me so far.
இதுல இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான இன்னொரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா, your uncle, of course, Mr. Muralidhara Rao, அவரும் வந்து he played a very active role in coaching you. In fact, he took you under his wing, and he had certain rules in place. இல்லையா, உங்களுக்கு வந்து you always had to sport a clean shaven look. You had to tuck your jersey in.
Yes.
When and why did these rules kind of come into being?
Yes, I'm quite surprised that you know all these details. But yes, he's the one, clean shave, tucked in, because the opponent should be scared even before he comes to the court. So your presence, your presentation is very, very important. If if you have a stubble and if your hair is not well kept and you have a t-shirt loose out, you are not as presentable as the other way around. So I think it's a very important aspect which has helped me have the discipline in that way. And between my father and uncle, a lot of people ask how difficult is it to have your father as your coach. I had me and my brother, we had our uncle as my coach, because என்னதா இருந்தாலும் அப்பா சொல்லும்போது இந்த அப்பாங்களுக்கு வேற வேலையே இல்லடா அப்படின்னு you will always take that for granted, because you'll take that for granted because you see your father every day. You don't distinguish between a father and a coach. But then when my uncle is saying the same thing, then we are afraid to talk back. We just shut up and do what he's doing, what he's asking us to do. So that way, they divided the jobs there.
Right, and that's a job very well done, for sure. அண்ட் ஒரு விஷயம், ஆக்சுவலி ஷரத் கமல் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாலே ஒரு முதல் ஐடென்டிட்டி எல்லாருக்கும் மைண்ட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வர விஷயம் உங்களோட பேண்டனா. இட்ஸ் பீன் அன் இன்செப்பரபிள் பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஹூ ஷரத் கமல் ஹாஸ் பீன் ஃபார் அ நம்பர் ஆஃப் இயர்ஸ் நவ். when did you actually first start wearing it? உங்களுக்கு ஞாபகம் இருக்கா ஏன் வந்து நீங்க முதல்ல அதை போட ஆரம்பிச்சீங்க அப்படின்னு?
Yeah, I still remember 2004 I went to Sweden. So basically when I went to Sweden, I forgot to get a haircut done. I went to Sweden for 3 months. And when I went there, haircut was around 4,000 rupees.
Oh, okay.
So I said, I as in well save that money for something else and leave the hair longer. So I came back, and then it was a trend at that point of time. Everybody was having long hair, and playing with the bandana was more an inspiration from the tennis players, Roger Federer, Nadal, Federer mostly. That point of time.
Right.
So I started wearing it, and I still remember 2006 when I won my first Commonwealth Games medal. A lot of people identified me as, hey, நீ அந்த பையன் தான் கர்ச்சீஃப் கட்டி விளையாடுவியா தலையில. It was a kerchief, yeah. It was not like the local, the gully boy.
Your family's been supportive through and through. Your parents, your brother Rajat, who also doubles up as your analyst, your sparring partner, your wife. So tell us something about how important your family's role has been, right from then to now.
So as I was telling, it's very, very important to have peace and quiet in your personal life. If there is proper support coming from your personal life, your professional
Right.
life, you can concentrate 100% on your job, and that helps you improve. Because if you still remember the Pepsi ad back then, eat cricket, sleep cricket, dream cricket. So that is how
Yeah.
sport is. If your concentration is off, on your personal problems, then you are not able to perform well in the sport. So that way I've been quite lucky
Right.
to have a very supportive family, and more so my wife, who doesn't understand the sport even till date, but still she
Right.
accepts the fact that okay, fine, you go ahead, I will take care of the kids, you can play. Even for this Instagram live, she's taking the kids out so that I can do this Instagram live.
Right. Right. But is it also a bit of a relief actually to not discuss sport with your wife, because உங்க ஃபேமிலியிலே எல்லாருமே டிடி ஆடிட்டு இருக்காங்க, everyone knows about the
Yeah.
sport, so is it actually a bit of a relief to not discuss the sport for a change with at least one member of the family?
Ama, what you're saying is very true. I still remember when சின்ன வயசுல at the dining table, when dad used to talk about table tennis, my mom used to cut it off saying, anyway you're spending like all the time in the table tennis club, don't talk about table tennis here, let's talk about the studies, because they're not doing anything with the studies. So I think, yeah, for an outsider it's always very difficult to listen to table tennis all the time. So that's something which I do respect my wife, because she doesn't understand anything. She gives me my space. At the same time, she says, okay, when you come back home, let's think about something else. So many times I still remember I would have lost a very hard match
Right.
when in Germany playing the Bundesliga. Very, very tough matches, and probably because of me, we would have lost that tie itself. And then
Right.
when you come back home, then you have your wife, my wife and my daughter are there. Then I completely forget about the match. At least it
Right.
takes the pressure off my mind at that point of time.
You won so many different awards, you are an Arjuna awardee, but Padma Shri, when that happened, how did you react? Did it ever sink in at all?
Yeah, it sank in. When it was announced, in January. I was happy, but it sank in more when I actually received the award at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. When
Right.
when you're there doing that ceremony, that was when I felt really special, and accepting that okay, this is something, a major achievement which I have done. So as you were telling, yeah, I would be one of the younger, because the people along with me who were sitting there were all pretty much old, and it's for the lifetime contribution you've done
Yeah.
to winning. So that way I'm really thankful that the Indian government has recognized my contribution to the field of sports, in the field of table tennis, because I've been playing for India for the last 18 years, almost 18 years or so, for the international team, and I've been a captain for 16 to 17 years. So
Yeah.
it's been a long haul with my contribution for the sport, and
Absolutely.
I think it's not just for me. I think for the whole table tennis fraternity, it's a warm welcome, because
Right.
youngsters who are looking up to me will also be aiming, okay, I should also win that Padma Shri award, or go beyond me, because that was something which we were always looking up to our seniors. When they broke the top 100 mark, we also felt okay, we should also break the top 100 mark. Now, when
Right.
we've broken the top 30 mark, everybody is thinking about okay, we need to get into the top 20 or top 10.
Right. And also, while I was discussing the fact that I was going to be talking to you, to one of your former colleagues, who happens to be a classmate of mine, Abhishek Ravichandran Solte, who used to play at the state level many years ago. He was my batchmate at Loyola. So he
Yeah.
was very excited when he got to know that you are going to be on the show. And the one thing that he told me is, everybody loves Raymond Badri, everybody loves Sharath Abdina. What makes you such a likable character in the fraternity?
I don't know. It's just my personality. I like talking. I like being social, and I don't know. I just take care of people around me. So probably that is what helps. Everything. And with Abhishek has been. He was on the Commonwealth squad in 2010. when we won the
That's
bronze
right.
medal. So it was really much fun. Three Chennai boys back then we were on the squad,
Yeah.
and now also we are three Chennai boys on the squad. Myself, Satyan, and Amalraj. So yeah, I think it's very important that people remember you beyond your sport, because in the end
Yeah.
of the day, I'm not going to be the best player all the time. Tomorrow there would be somebody else who's number one and I'll take backseat. But then people should remember you, how you were as a person rather than how you were as a player.
Your family was going through some tough times financially, and your dad wanted you to take up a job. What was that period like for you?
That was when I turned professional. 10th
Okay.
standard, I decided, 10th standard, when normally we have to decide about commerce or science,
Hmm.
which direction. And back then, in my days, when this was in the 98, 90, 97, 98, that period, where
Right.
half of the guys, at least Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. I'm from Andhra. My parents are from Andhra. So
Yeah.
all of them will do their engineering here and go to the US. That is the
Correct.
way how it
அதான்
happens.
டெம்ப்ளேட் நமக்குலாம்.
Yeah, that is how it is. So I was given an opportunity to study in Anna University. Anna University,
Right.
PD said if I get 60% in my 10th standard boards, I will be able to get any department what I want and play for the Anna University and become an engineer. So that way I could
Right.
go into engineering and professional side. But I
Right.
chose to do professional sport, taking up commerce. So that way it was a little bit of a let down for my mother, because my mother wanted me to go that side. But anyways,
Right.
once I decided, they supported me. So then when I decided to go professional, my father was not able to support me financially, because I had to play a lot of tournaments. I had to buy a lot of equipment,
Right.
to play the tournaments. Also, many times I still remember my equipment used to be bad in practice. So my father used to yell at me saying, you need to have good equipment in practice, because if you don't have good equipment in practice, you will have bad training sessions, which will end up
Right.
in losing confidence for your matches. So it's very, very
Correct.
important to have good equipment there also. So, but we didn't
Right.
have the money to have good equipment all the time. So that in that context, and also this other reason was my younger brother was also playing. He was also thinking of
Competitive
turning pro.
table tennis.
Yeah, competitive. So my father was not able to support both. So he
Right.
asked me, like, he told me that, okay, I'll need my support. You need my support. That is how I took up. I went into railways. I joined railways. I played for railways. But that again, all those have also been good breaks in my career. Probably if I didn't
Right.
play for railways, I would not have had that kind of exposure to get into the national scene. So.
Satyan has just chimed in, and he believes that it was in fact good on you that you didn't take up engineering. ரொம்ப அனுபவிச்சிருக்காருன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் இன்ஜினியரிங் படிச்சுட்டு சத்யன்.
Ama, but what he's done is fantastic. He finished engineering and then coming back into table tennis and then taking the jump he's done is really fantastic.
Apart from Mr. Ramji Srinivasan of Sports Dynamix, I've seen guys like Manav, Jeevan, Logan, Akhilesh, and of course the physio Venkatesh. All these guys work really hard by your side. How much has their contribution been in keeping you guys in great shape?
The story begins from a very early stage. Ramji sir, I know him since, I don't know, 2007, 2008, very
Right.
long time. So he's been helping me every time I was in India, whenever I needed help. And I've heard about him from my seniors also. So, அங்கேருந்து வந்து 2015 I had a very major injury where I tore my
Correct.
hamstring. And I
It was a
didn't
career
know if
threatening injury, இல்லையா?
Yes, I didn't know if I could come back to table tennis. I didn't know if I could. So from that stage, I started working slowly. At that point of time, I was in Germany. So I had a
Right.
physio there, I had a trainer there. so worked my thing 2015 and 2016. Got the stability into knowing that okay, I will not be injured further. I just need to work on these aspects. After 2016 Rio Olympic Games, I moved to Chennai. I left Germany and I moved to Chennai. And since I moved to Chennai, I started with Rams. And since then, I think it is a transformation of me physically. Since I started with Sports Dynamix, the moment directly after 3 months after the Olympics, a lot of people told me that I was looking physically much fitter. There was, the body had developed stronger. There was clear definition from outside. So this was all a process. And for me to so well over the years, see, after being injured in that kind of a way, coming back, I won 3 national titles. We won the Homerun gold, we won the Asian Games bronze, going into the Olympics strong now, recently won the Oman Open, career best ranking of 30, now currently 31. All this happened after I moved back to Chennai. This, I would attribute it to my fitness, because with age, I am competing against players who are much younger than me. So I need to be as fast as them first. So that is the most important aspect. நிறைய பேர் கேட்பாங்க எப்படி இவ்வளவு வருஷம் விளையாடுறீங்க இப்போ ஜிம்ல also a lot of people have this. I've got some years ago I used to playing, they can't put that together that I'm still playing and I'm still quite good player. So that is mainly because of the aspects.
How challenging was that period? Because you had that crippling hip and hamstring injury. Rio Olympics just kunjam munadi vanda or injury adu. Emotionally and mentally also it must have taken a huge toll, because for 4 years you have been gearing towards a major event like the Olympics, and to get that kind of an injury at the worst possible time. How did you cope with that?
Yeah, very true. A lot of people don't understand that with the injuries or with generally bad things happen, you are first mentally very, very demotivated or depressed. So with injuries, more than the physical disability, I think the mental disability is very, very hard. When I knew that I might not be able to play, I was close to depression. I was feeling very low because playing table tennis is my identity. அதை வச்சுதான் உங்களுக்கு இப்போ Sharath Kamal because of table tennis. Table tennis not that you don't know me, and that very identity is going to be taken away from me. So for that sole reason is very hard for you to say okay, no problem, let's move on. So அந்த இடத்துல வந்து physically when you go solo, for you to go into the rehab is also very, very difficult. But then somehow, thanks to people around me, the club in Germany, I could somehow pick myself up and then come back and play. But I would say after coming back from that injury is what my almost innings or my second career is, and the second part of the career has been really fantastic.
Table tennis பத்தி ஒரு பயோபிக் தமிழ்நாடு டிடி பத்தி எடுத்தா உங்க ரோல், அமல்ராஜ் ஓட ரோல், அப்புறம் சத்யனோட ரோல் யார் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க.
அது நிறைய பேர் கேட்டிருக்காங்க, if there's a biopic on you, who do you think should do it? இப்போ அமல்ராஜ் சத்யன் பத்திலாம் சத்யன்
இல்ல சொல்லுங்க, இந்த நண்பன் படம் மாதிரி 3 மெயின் கேரக்டர்ஸ்.
அப்போ வந்து தெரியல, for சத்யன் வந்து யாராவது படிப்பாளி தான், some nerd only has to do it. So some nerd looking has to do it.
True.
Yeah, for me I don't know, as long as the biopic is able to depict what table tennis is not so famous, and the people don't know இப்போதைக்கு அவ்வளோ இதுவா சரத் கமல், சத்யன், அமல்ராஜ் பத்திலாம் அவ்வளோ தெரியாது, ஜெனரல் பப்ளிக் தெரியாது, ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் விளையாடுறவங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் தெரியும். பட் I hope a biopic can happen which can get the game to the masses, make the game more popular.
There's a photograph of yours with Sachin Tendulkar. who's a huge table tennis enthusiast as well. எப்பயாவது ஆடி இருக்கீங்களா அவர் கூட?
இல்ல, I've asked him if I could play. He said yes, but never got an opportunity. I've heard that he can play with both his hands. And he's pretty good in table tennis. So I hope I'll be able to play sometime with him. But thorough gentleman. I think he's one of the ones who's made me understand the fact that it doesn't matter how good a sports person you are, the human being is, your character as a human being is the most important.
But you're also a bit of a biker, இல்லையா? உங்க பேர்ல வந்து கஸ்டமைஸ்ட் ஒரு பைக் வேற இருக்கு. எவ்வளவு frequent-ஆ உங்க பைக் எடுத்துட்டு போவீங்க?
I try to take it every Sunday. Okay. But during the lockdown, it's almost been null. So I take my son for a round around where I am. It's a Bullet customized in Bangalore. I like bikes. I like riding, bikes. Let it be sports bike or cruisers or any thing for that matter. So I try to take it out because that's also my time. That's my way of unwinding.
சுஜித் சொல்றாரு you are a good guitarist as well அப்படினு உண்மையா?
அதெல்லாம் போயாச்சுங்க. அதெல்லாம் பழையகாலம். Now I haven't touched the guitar in the last.
I can almost imagine you serenading your wife guitar வச்சு அப்படியே ஒரு வாரணமாயிரம் எஃபெக்ட்ல.
அப்படியெல்லாம் இல்லைங்க, அப்படியெல்லாம் இல்ல. ஹாய் மாலினி அப்படி சொல்லுமா?
பாருங்க வாய்ஸ் கூட கரெக்டா வருது உங்களுக்கு. Your favorite non-sporting role models யாரு?
Non-sporting role models. Difficult question. Because you always generally have sporting role models only. Non-sporting, U2 singer Bono is very, very inspiring. The way how he is inclined towards helping the society.
உங்களோட all time favorite film star யார்?
Of course Rajinikanth. அதுல பேச்சே இல்ல.
அதுலயும் நீங்களும் சத்யனும் வந்து you have opted for two different paths. அவர் பெரிய கமல் fan, நீங்க பெரிய ரஜினி fan.
I've always been a Rajini fan. அது சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே. இந்த பாஷா 1995 பாஷா பார்த்ததுல இருந்து do I remember
proper 90s kid.
Yes, 8 o'clock show morning. எங்க அப்பாக்கு ஆபீஸ்ல டிக்கெட் கிடைச்சது. ஆபீஸ் ஏதோ ஷோ 8 o'clock show. அதை பார்த்து then me and my brother went on a Sunday morning for the re-release of Basha.
Okay.
So it was so nostalgic, it was superb.